Hi there, hope you guys are having a great day today. We are going to be doing some, it's the waning moon, and it's actually on a Wednesday, but Wednesday is one of those days when you can work with any angel as long as you are careful with how you are approaching it, very respectfully, not taking for granted anything, you know? So, anyway, so I want to work with Samael again today. I want to do some reversing magic. So anybody who's got, this is excellent if you know or if you believe you've been cursed, or if somebody's working magic against you, it's a great thing to do because we're going to reverse it. But a lot of times people think, sharpener. Sorry about that, guys. A lot of times people will just assume they're being hexed when in fact it's just an internal issue. And a lot of times when you are, even if you are being hexed, it's still an internal issue because that's how hexes work. They work by coming after your deep mind. And so if you have a healthy kind of psychic immune system, nobody's really going to be able to do much to you. So no matter what it is, even if there really is a hex going on, you still want to work on yourself. So we're going to reverse all evil today. So any evil, be it self-induced, internal, or has to do with an actual magical attack, it's all going to get reversed today. All right. Now this operation is intense. It involves the making of 2 talismans. Okay. So this is one of the few times when we actually name our problem, because I find that it's better not to name the problem in most talismans because we're, you know, I'll show you what we're talking about though. Okay, so let's do one at a time. We're going to make a 5-inch 5-pointed star. And this is our oops, I guess I would have it measured by 5 inches. Good morning. Okay, so we're going to make, can you see that? Okay, so we're going to make a nice 5-inch circle, diameter circle. So let's dial our compass into that spot. We want it to be accurate. These measurements are good for us. Accuracy, attempting accuracy is always good when you're working magic, even though it's a very forgiving system. Just because it's a very forgiving system doesn't mean we want to take advantage. Okay, that is like too light. I don't know what I was doing there. We don't want to take advantage of the fact that it's, oh, for heaven's sake. We don't want to take advantage of the fact that it's a forgiving system and, there we go, and not do our best. So we try to be as accurate as possible. We try to always do our best, and then if we make mistakes, we know that we're working a system that's not going to be quote, punishing us for our mistakes. All right. We are not going to do a harmonic in the center. And in this particular first, oh, what am I doing? I don't need to erase it yet. And in this particular first talisman, we are not going to round off the edges. We're going to let that sucker be as violent as it needs to be. Okay. So we're working with Samael. He's a warrior. Means the venom of God. Okay. Now there is another Samael that's mentioned, and you can usually he's got 2 M's instead of 1 M. Our Samael that we work in this system is the angel of the sphere of Mars. There is another Samael which people mistake for this guy, who is synonymous with the concept of Satan. That's not who we are dealing with, just FYI. So if you, oh, for heaven's sake. So if you ever come across that, know that that's a different angel completely. There's a lot of angels out there, and some of them are just dubious. What happened was, back in the day, people started just putting L after anything and just making up angels. And so there's a lot of these lists of angels have a lot of these made up angels that have no occurrence in any of the standard literature, you know. And so they just they've come to be thought of as angels, even though there's no substance to them. So we're not just making stuff up here. We're going by tried and true methods. Okay, so I made a little 1/2 inch on the outside to put some god names later. Notice how this particular, anytime you do talismanic magic, notice the process is going to be indicative of what the operation is. There's a little resistance to getting this done, right? So that's always important to know. Okay, so there might be something when you're noticing some resistance, there might be something that does need to be broken free. All right, so now let's take our protractor and we're gonna just make our 5-pointed star. Now what you can do, if you really want to be exact, and it's not a bad idea, so we've got this 8.5 inch square here. So what you can do is you can mark off the 4 1/4 point here and find the center on each of these, so that you are certain when you lay your protractor down that you're finding the right spots. So if you really want to be exact, and when you're doing any kind of, this isn't an actual curse that we're doing, but it's a counter attack, okay? And a lot of this stuff, remember, is internal. A lot of these, most of the enemies that we have are internal, but that doesn't mean that they're less, that they, in fact, the internal enemies are a lot more dangerous in our lives than the external enemies are. So that way I can just sort of line it up. If I wanted to really make sure of things, I would make sure that it lines up here, which it does not. So let's fix that. I mismeasured. So a lot of these angels are, it looks like it's okay to me. No, I'm gonna call it good. A lot of the enemies, I'm sorry, that we have are, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, that's fine. Are of our own making, and that's a big deal. I mean, that's a major deal. We wanna make sure that we understand that the enemies of our own making, internal, have all the power to wreak havoc in our lives. So we don't want to make light of it by saying, oh, that's just something inside my head. That's where all the stuff happens, is inside your head. That's where it starts, and then it goes out and projected into the world. So these are the big enemies, the big internal ones. So yeah, you may be having a hex, but okay, so there's my 90. And then I'm gonna start. So 360 divided by 5 is 72. Here we go. 72. I know I had that memorized, but I always like to check. Because, you know, you've seen me work. I will go off on major tangents, and it's just like, whoops. Well, that's an interesting figure, but it has nothing to do with the pentagram there, Ariel. 72. And we gotta do 2 of these, so I better get going. I'm sitting here blabbing. Remember also, speaking of blabbing, that these angels are, what is this? What the heck did I do? I think I screwed up is what I did. Remember, these angels are real beings. They're not a figment of your imagination. These are real beings, and they are very powerful. Don't fall into, I don't know what I did. I'm sorry, guys. I was obviously just chit-chatting and not paying attention. Oh, I think what it was is I had the wrong top. We're just going to start over. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, no more than that. Okay. A lot of what you see out there about angels, you know, they're sort of wimpy, kind of like, oh, white light and everything's good. Okay. Well, be careful of that, because angels, especially when you start really working angelic magic like we are doing, they are incredibly powerful. And a lot of times you can get a lot more than you bargained for when you work with angels. They do have our best interests at heart. They do want to help us. They are our guardians and our teachers. But at the same time, that doesn't mean they're just going to give us whatever we want when we want it, because they're not our servants. They're not our errand workers, you know? They don't do our bidding. They are teachers and helpers and guides. They do God's bidding. And when we treat them like they're our servants, they can show us what they're really made of. So what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did it. All right. Now let's bring these guys in. So again, I don't want to scare you. I want you to work with the angels, but I don't want you to be disrespectful, and I don't want you to treat them like they're demons. If you want just whatever you want when you want it, and you want it some sort of servant, then you study demonology. That's what it's there for, that kind of sorcery. Then you have to learn how to have power over those demons so they don't turn against you. You have to learn how to make pacts and all that kind of stuff. And you can get what you want, and usually you find that what you thought you wanted becomes a sort of an albatross, sometimes even a curse, that is hard to get rid of once you get it. And that's not our main primary goal with angelic magic. We're not after having our whims met. We are after perfecting ourselves and becoming better people. We are after truth. And if we have problems, so the way we recognize our problems as being manifestations of problems in our mind, they are lessons that we are here to learn. And they do want to help us overcome our problems. They do want to help us become better people. They do want us to learn how to do the things that we are here to do, the things that bring us joy. Absolutely, they want that. But a lot of the things that we think we want are actually going to hurt us, and they're not going to support that. They are not going to support that at all. So it's much better to present your problem to the angels and ask, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? How would you have me learn this lesson in the best way possible? And then you've given them permission to do their work properly the way they will. But if you say, I want this, 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 and this, and I want it by Friday, they're not going to support that. And usually at first they think it's kind of funny, I think. But after a while, they don't mind giving you a little kick in the ass. And to them it's no big deal, but to us it can be like a huge deal when you get a kick in the ass. Okay, so this, we're going to, oh shoot, why did I do what I did? It's all right, I can still see my points. We're going to do our cross quarterlies here. Then we're going to do another one. Oops, what am I doing here? I can just start where I am. Cross quarterly here, we're going 40 and 50. Cross quarterly, we line it up to the cardinal point, and then we do 40 and 50. Line it up to the cardinal direction, which is here. And I erased my dot so I can't even see where center is. That'll work. I've got it. So, just be aware of that, all right? You have guardian angels. You know how to find your birth angels. If you don't know how to do that, you can look it up. You can download all kinds of information about these angels on the Facebook page. We have it all there for you. And there's more to come. And we just go forward from glory to glory. That's how the angels want us to work. They want us to be happy, and they want us to contribute. They want our life's purpose to be manifest, and they want us to be the people that we were created to be, and grow and evolve. And we're supposed to do that through joy, but if we can't do it through joy, they're fine with us doing it through struggle. But if you're invoking angels, and you are serious, and you are sincere, then most of your struggles start to disappear, and that's a beautiful thing. But if you start to treat the angels as, like I said, as servants, you are inviting trouble. All right? They are teachers. All right. So Elohim Gabor is this guy. Here, let's just draw all this in. I don't want anybody to get afraid to work with their angels, but I want to make sure that you understand that this is not silly. Don't believe the stuff that you see on the internet about angels necessarily, because a lot of it is absolute nonsense. They're a force that have been worked with for centuries in very, very specific ways. And a lot of those ways that we are teaching you are extremely ancient, even though we streamline our practice so that it's more doable in the 21st century. That does not mean that we're just doing whatever, whenever, and just because we see the name of an angel in some list somewhere that we just call on them arbitrarily and not understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. We take our craft extremely seriously. We don't bother with a lot of this new age nonsense about angels. Some of it's okay, but most of it is just like this channeled material and all that stuff. I mean, it depends on how it was channeled. If it was done properly, maybe some of it's okay. But a lot of it, just because some sort of angelic transmission happens, doesn't mean that it's not just the ego of the person who's supposedly receiving this. Or worse still, some demon that is masquerading as an angel because the person channeling it doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know how to check for a transmission to make sure that it's not just their ego or some spirit masquerading. You know what I mean? So be aware, take your time, think it through, and do it right. Don't be afraid of doing the magic. Don't be afraid of it. But be careful with it and be sincere. If you have a pure heart and sincere motivations, and you do your best with the methods, all will be well. I promise you won't make a mistake. But don't get, so this is Elohim Gabor. Don't get cocky with this stuff. And think that you can just, oops, what am I doing? Well, and don't do that. See what happens when you talk? Now, see, this kind of mistake this is the kind of mistake that they're not gonna like go, oh well, you're destroyed, bye. Because it was an honest mistake, right? It's okay to make those kinds of mistakes. But to just say, well, whatever, I'm gonna just not try. Or if you're a beginner and you're just doing the basic talisman, they're fine with that because you're doing it. They love that. But if you're just taking everything for granted, there I did it again, starting out with the second word. If you're just taking everything for granted and you're not giving the due respect to these beings that is due to them, then usually nothing will happen. But if you continue on that path, eventually they're going to let you know that it's all real and you're barking up literally the wrong tree. You better get yourself together if you're going to be working with them or trying to work with them, or it's not going to be fun for you. Make sense? And again, don't worry if everything's perfect. Worry about your attitude. That's what we got to consider. All right, so this first pentagram is down. Uh-oh, did he really use an inverted pentagram? Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. People, you don't understand that how much this nouveau stuff, all this new age stuff has co-opted our symbolism. You're never allowed to use an inverted pentagram because it's evil. No, it's not. It's part of our craft. You just don't use it. You don't use it inappropriately. Now, an inverted pentagram is a pentagram of cursing, and it's the pentagram of banishment, and it's the pentagram of counterattack and reversal. So we're going to put inside of this, and we're not trapping it. We are seeing that it's already a trap. All right. So I'm not putting your name in here because I don't want to involve you in this kind of thing unless you want yourself to be involved. So you can put your own name by intending it. But we are putting in here that which we are reversing. So I'm going to put curses, evil, and I'm gonna put pain. So we're recognizing curses, evil, and pain are our foes. I'm putting Scorpio here and Aries here. All right, let's take off some of this. Let's take off a half an inch. Just leave that. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that's pretty powerful here. Again, you don't want to take this stuff lightly, but that doesn't mean you want to necessarily avoid it either, because if you've got stuff going on in you in your life that you just can't seem to get it together, chances are you've cursed yourself or someone's helped curse you. And we want to reverse that stuff. We want to return to Ascenda. And you have every right to be free of any curse, whether it's self-induced or not. You are not meant to be going around in a cursed condition. And a lot of people are. A lot of people just are, unbeknownst to themselves. And like I said, the bulk of that is self-induced. Most really skilled practitioners of the art don't do a lot of cursing, except for the righteous cursing like we talk about to other people. And the few that do are probably not that interested in you because it's a lot of work. So most of these curses are self-induced. And then what they do even though you don't have a formal curse against you, is that they pick up any of the negativity that people are thinking about you, and they use it against you. But again, it's the bulk of this is of your own making. So that doesn't mean it shouldn't be reversed. We are not attempting to try to harm anybody with this. We are attempting to clear with this. Okay? So, let me get some perfumes. All right. So let's just cleanse our space. I'm using this Florida water. This is the stuff from Cuba, which I prefer to the stuff that's more commonly sold in America, and you can get it online. So I'm visualizing this white light, calling on the white light, calling on perfect life force, and we are purifying this space and purifying ourselves. We are seeing this life force, presence of life itself, permeating this space, permeating this talisman and all it represents. Oops, where are we? Here we are. The curses, the evil, and the pain that we have been experiencing. We call upon Samael now. We're asking Samael to imbue us with his life, his presence, his warrior energy. We ask that all curses, be they self-induced or placed upon us, all evil, all pain, whether it's self-induced or placed upon us, be reversed. At this moment in time, we know that that is our birthright. We wish only the best for everyone. We wish everyone all the blessings of life, and that includes us. And so we recognize that we have a cross condition that we feel, and we are going to reverse it now with your help, Samael, and for this we are very, very grateful. We recognize that your ability to go into battle is righteous. We don't understand how to do that ourselves, so we are giving the battle to you and asking for you to help us, and that we are receptive to your instruction, your guidance, and your wisdom, and that we will do as you instruct us, and we will keep our eyes and ears open to your signs. Thank you very much. We all say blessed be. Okay, so we just set that to the side while we work on the next one. All right, so that we're letting Samael do his work through the inverted pentagram. He is the warrior, and we're going to do another 5-inch circle. And this time we're going to do it upright. When we make our pentagram, this time we're going to make it upright. We're not going to let it go inverted. All right. So once again, let's mark our 4 cardinal directions. Let's be very careful because we are dealing with serious business here. And you're dealing with curses and counterattack and all that stuff that we're looking at here. Again, the battle is the Lord's. That's what it says in the Bible. And what that means is that Samael is an angel of the Lord, meaning Samael does God's will, not ours. All the angels do. And so, since that's true, God's will is not for us to be in a crossed condition. God does not will for that. God's will for us is happiness, peace, prosperity, and all the good in life. And if we are in a crossed condition, it is up to us to recognize that and to ask for release. And that is one of the reasons why Samael is one of our teaching angels. It's one of the very many reasons why, is because he is a great warrior. And he will go to battle on our behalf, both with our own egos and with anything else that is crossing us. Okay? So we're very grateful for his presence. We are. And we do not take it for granted one bit. 72 degrees. Never take anything for granted, especially when you're working angelic magic. It's very important that you have an attitude of praise, love, and gratitude at all times. In other words, otherwise you are off the beam. It's the magical triplicity: love, praise, and gratitude. And if you can't keep those things active while you're working this magic, you are not going to be happy with your results. Like I said, if you want to do demonic magic, I don't have any judgment against that. You can do that if you want, but that's the only way you're going to be able to get what the forms that you say you want when you want them. Don't come to the angels for that, because they're not going to support that necessarily. Oftentimes they do, but usually it's better than what you could come up with. Oftentimes it's better. So just saying, be careful. Be careful. Be sincere. Be humble. Be grateful. Right? Praise, love, gratitude. Love, gratitude, praise. However you want to order that. That's your magic formula right there. I got so many little markings here. I hope I don't forget what I'm doing. Do you think I will? Okay, we should do a Vegas bet. Is Ariel gonna get stuck? Because there's a pentagram point. Let's just do, let's not. Hang on. Let's put the pentagram points in first. There we go. 1. A 2. Oh, see, you can even laugh when you're doing counterattack. When you laugh, and it's sincere, especially when you're doing magic and it's sincere laughter. Know that you are working with the angels, because laughter, genuine melodious laughter, is one of their hallmarks. The angels are a laughing species. Let's see, 72. Okay, here's this guy. And they laugh at me all the time. All the time. I'm constantly being laughed at in a good way. I never feel ridiculed by the angels, because it's not what they're about. But we do crack them up. That is for sure. Sometimes they laugh when they say, when we start doing stupid stuff, they laugh at it up to a point, and then they like, okay, enough of this. You're done. No more. We're going to end this now. We're gonna make sure of it, that you don't do that again. Now, if you're a person who's cruel by nature, and you don't start to transform that nature, and you start working angelic magic, you're gonna really see some interesting things in your life. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Okay, I got one more cross quarterly to do here. I have it. I've got several. So, sincere heart. A sincere heart. A clear, sincere purpose. A very, dedicated spirit, dedicated to working on yourself, to becoming the best version of you that you can be. Oh yeah, they're going to support that. Are you kidding? Of course they are. And part of that involves, you know, you getting the money you need. Ooh, what did I do? Getting the money you need and getting the relationships that are going to be good for you, getting the joy in your life that is your birthright. Let me just see what I did. So somebody just won a bunch of money. Somebody here just won a bunch of money in Vegas. Because yes, I did it. That was me doing that. I messed up. Chit chat, chit chat, chit chat. Not paying attention to what he's doing. Chit chat, that's alright. Did I just mess it up again? Oh, goodness. Chit chat, chit chat. No, I've got it. Okay, I'm just crooked. I'm a crooked magician. No, I'm not. I'm just a little off center. All right. This is really not the best, but that's okay. They're going to be fine with us. I swear. I promise they're going to be fine with this. He is going to be fine with this. Okay, so let's just keep it going here because we've got some more work to do, and this is already going to be a long video. But reversing curses is not an easy, simple operation. As you can see, it involves more than just my intention. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. All that matters is your intention. It doesn't matter what you do. That's not true. That's not true. If that's all that it took, everybody in the 60s, all these, there'd be a ton of, I really screwed this up. There'd be a ton of people who married George, Paul, and Ringo. You know what I'm saying? So, and John, sorry, George, John, Paul, and Ringo. It's not just your intention. If intention was enough, you would be, you know, a multi-cajillionaire or whatever it is that you think you want. And then if you mess up like that, just make sure you close the circle. I'm again not trapping on this particular operation. So it's not just your intention; it's your method too. Your methods, even if they're not perfect like mine, even if you don't always execute them perfectly, if you do your best, the work involved brings the intention forth into manifestation. But it's not just the intention. Don't be so lazy. You have to learn. You have to have a technique. You have to have a system. Don't be lazy. That is never supported by the angels. Never. Ever, ever, ever. Okay. With this one, I am going to put everybody in here because this can serve a dual purpose as just a regular overcoming difficulty talisman without actually reversing a curse, okay? Because there's no inversion here. So I'm going to put all viewers. This is all blessing. Okay, and then we're going to say peace. Oh, I could have, hang on. I should have rounded my corners first, but that's okay. Peace. What did we put in here? Oh, evil and pain and curses. Okay, peace, freedom. Maybe freedom. Yeah, if once your curse is gone, let's put relief. And glory. Okay, so I didn't do anything major for these corners. I'm just going to smooth them out a little bit. There's some other cool stuff I want to show you about these corners, but we'll do that on a day when the video is not so long. So you can just kind of color them in like this a little bit just to smooth them out. Because this one, we don't want any violent edges. We want it to smooth out because this one will be broadcasting. This one's almost finished broadcasting. Okay, so we're going to do a Mars, a Mars, a Mars, and I'm going to just go ahead and flip these. I'm going to do an Aries and a Scorpio. Not that this matters so much, but I like that it's the opposite of what we did there. Okay, now, let's trim this. Oh, let's put our words in here. Our God names. And I'm going to be more careful. Elohim Gabor. Elohim Gabor. Take a long time if you like to make all this real pretty if you like. I just don't want to make this video so long. Gabor. And Elohim Gabor. See how when you do cursive, it's almost better than using magical scripts because you're actually writing it in and you're able to say it out loud. I shouldn't say it's better than magical scripts. It's just got a different effect. It's a nice one. It's a nice effect. I'm gonna take a whole inch off of this guy, I think. So, but again, there's strength. There's pros and cons to any method. Okay, and we'll get into the script soon, I promise. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to start anything like that on the waning moon. So in my world, this is the very end of the waning moon. We've got the dark moon. We've got a 3-day orb of a dark moon coming up. So what that means is that when you look on your calendar for the new moon in the actual calendar where it says new moon, that's the apex of the dark moon. So usually the day before and the day after and the day of, we go dark. We go dark. Now, if you can actually see a visible crescent on like the day after, you can start working. But it's the appearance of the first visible crescent of the waxing moon. That's the new moon. And so, and it's not a specific time. It's a phase. So if you just take, as a general rule, I just take those 3 days off. The 3 days of, this is a little bit weird. The 3 days, so the day of, I screwed that up. The day of, the day before, and the day after is where I would recommend. What in the world, Ariel? Is what I would recommend just going dark. Now those are times when you can do reading, you can do studying. You just don't do any invoking. You don't do any like real magic on those days. And then on the eclipses, we don't do magic either. Now occasionally I'll do video magic on those days, just especially if I feel like we need to get some videos up. And in those cases, I won't put your name in the star just because the timing's off, and I don't want. And it can be. You can get some unexpected results when you're working during the dark times like that. They're a built-in vacation, so I recommend you use them. Okay, so now what we've got is our second Samael talisman. Our second Samael star. And this one, after we've reversed all of the curse or multiple curses, this is what's left over. So we've cleansed our space, but we can do it again. I cleanse the space, visualizing a white light. You can be in a circle if you like. Sometimes I'm in a circle, sometimes I'm not. And then we call upon Samael. We ask that he be in our lives right now as we reverse these curses. Whether they're self-induced or not, it makes no difference to us. We want these curses gone. And it's our birthright to have these curses gone. And we are going to do our righteous work that is necessary to make sure that we don't indulge in any kind of cursing. So we don't curse other people. We don't think ill of other people. We wish everyone the best, all the blessings of life. We practice this daily because we know that this won't come naturally. So practicing daily is what we do, wishing the best for everyone in our lives. everyone we come in contact with, we bless. And this is our main way of overcoming curses. I'm gonna put his symbols here. I didn't do that on the other one, and I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, so now we've got 2, right? So now I'm going to take you and just say, the curse is reversed. And for this, we are very grateful. And you don't make a big deal out of it. You just recognize that it happened. Just taking out the trash. And we focus instead all of our thoughts on peace, relief, glory, and all of the other little thoughts that come to mind with that. And any other blessings. Now remember, when you go to war, when you have victory over anything, you get the spoils of that war. When you kill a dragon, the dragon's always guarding treasure. So those treasures are ours. And we are asking that Samael show us where those treasures are, and that we understand that they're our right, because we have allowed him to conquer and overcome and destroy all of those enemy thought forms, be they placed upon us or self-induced. And with every destruction of war, when we utterly defeat our enemy, we get the spoils of that war. And we are very grateful for that. We recognize that we're not harming any sentient being. We are dealing with thought forms. And we are grateful to be freed from these thought forms. Thank you very much. Together we say, blessed be. We're going to be working a psalm to help move this even a little farther. So I hope that we see you over in the psalm video. And I always love working with you. I hope this was enjoyable and educational for you. Much love and many blessings.